Hi, what I was wanting to discuss with my audience today was this concept of how do we communicate effectively with children, with younger people who may be experiencing some anxiety, some concerns, some fear, some worries. What is a really good way to talk to them about their feelings in this regard? And what I've noticed is that oftentimes we endeavour to do that in a way of having almost an adult conversation with them. And yet children don't have the same understanding, the same conception around the language that we use compared to what it is in their mind that they're going through or they're experiencing. And to to understand this or to share this with you is I had a beautiful example with a young boy that whose parents had brought him in. They were clients of mine, and they brought him in for a visit because they felt that he was experiencing anxiety, and this was manifesting in the way that he was quite withdrawn and he wasn't sleeping, and he seemed upset quite a bit of the time. And what they were wondering was whether he was in fact maybe experiencing some bullying perhaps, or they weren't sure what was going on. And when they would ask him about what was worrying him, his immediate go-to response was, "I don't know." And probably in his head, perhaps he didn't know how to articulate that, how to express what it was he was feeling. So we had a chat, and I asked him to explain to me what mum and dad had said and why he had come to see me. And he expressed it in this way. He said, they've come to see if you can help me with my unhappiness. So his expression of this was his unhappiness. And when I asked him when he experienced that, what was going on, when do you feel that unhappiness? He said, when people are cruel. And I could see there quite clearly how his parents may have interpreted that as someone had been unkind to him. So when we got further into the discussion, and I was able to ask him, well, when do you feel that? When do you experience, or when do you feel that people are being cruel? Has anyone been cruel to you? No, he said. Oh, okay. When have people been cruel? People are cruel at school. Are they? Yes, they're cruel to each other. Right, how do you feel? The minute I started to get him to explain how he felt, he started to use his own language, not the language that we as adults would normally use. And so to get children to explain by getting them to go deeper into how they feel, because this is not something we will work out in our head. They are not experiencing this in their head. They're experiencing a sense of feeling, a feeling of discomfort, a feeling of out of control, or a feeling of worry, fear, or whatever. In their little worlds, their interpretation of that can be quite different. So if we're able to say, where do you feel it? And he said, I feel it in my tummy. Ah, okay, you feel it in your tummy. And is it big or is it small? It's big like a football. Okay, so you're feeling in your tummy like a football. Does it have a colour? Yes, it's brown. Oh, wow, it's brown. Okay, I can understand that, right? We start talking and allow him to express what he's feeling. And then you can get to the point where you're able to say, are you ready to let that go? Would you like to let that go? Should we see if we can release that? And imagine that being released. Because if we want to go in, or if we're tempted to go into the head with children, we will be coming from a different perception, a different perspective from where they're coming from. And if we're able to open that language up, and in a lot of the multidimensional coaching, one of the methodologies that we use, not just for children, but across the board in communicating, is what we call the ask, don't tell model. So asking questions rather than telling someone what the solution might be, because for everyone that can be quite different. What may work for one child or even one adult in communication is quite different from someone else. So when a person is talking about how they feel, being able to get them deeply in touch with that feeling by asking more questions rather than telling them. I also experienced with an older child who was in fact going through an experience of being bullied at school, who mentioned it to her parents, and her parents took action and went and spoke with the school and that sort of thing. And when I saw her for a follow-up appointment, her explanation to me was that has just made it worse. And when I asked her to share that with me, she said, not only now am I being, tormented by other people at school, but now I'm labelled a dobber as well. And so if a child opens up to you and you really would like an older child and you would like to support them, one of these important aspects of the Ask Don't Tell model is to ask them, what would you like us to do about that? What would you like me to do about that? I've been thinking that maybe I could go and speak to school. What do you feel about that? So that you're really collaborating together as to a solution that that child is feeling comfortable about. Because otherwise we risk them shutting down. We risk them going, I opened up and now look what's happened, I won't do that again. And then they start to internalise and that can be a real challenge. So in all your communication, I would really, really encourage you to think about asking more questions, not assuming that by what someone describes to you or explains to you that you actually know what they're feeling. Ask some further questions, go deeper with that, and look to ask those questions in a very open way so that you can start to get a sense of what they're feeling. Because when you can get into that sense of feeling for them, you can help them to establish their own solutions, to find their own solutions, and you can be an amazing sounding board to enable that to happen. So I encourage you to have more conversations and open up to those that you care about and see if together you can work out some great solutions. Have a wonderful day.